reporting on the games you love by people who love to game. The MMO Reporter Network.
You're logging into your favorite game, grinding out some gear. A couple of points added to your stats and you have a virtual beer. Max level is pretty cool, but I'll remind you here, my friend. These games are not about the goal, it's about the journey and not the end.
You're listening to MMO Reporter, brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at audibletrial.com/MMO Reporter. And by Doghouse Systems. Choose your weapon with Doghouse Systems.
Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults you
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of MMO Reporter. This is episode 262. I'm Chris, and I am joined once again by none other than the wonderful, the ever so awesome Mr. at MMO Bill. Hello, Bill.
Good evening, Chris. Or as the kids are saying these days, what's up, fam?
Really?
Do they really say that?
Why
are you saying it?
I've researched this extensively. I've done a whole bunch of focus group and testing, and that is precisely what the kids are saying.
Okay.
Fam.
All right, got it. And of course, the other voice that you heard there is none other than the ever so awesome Harry Hall. Hi, Harry.
Hey there. My Rift is coming. Today. Actually, it's on the truck. It's on its way. I can see it on the UPS page.
Oh wow!
I'm
You
so
ordered.
happy.
You were able to find a collector's edition of Rift. That's fantastic. I love that game. Tryon Worlds
hear you
knocked
get
it out of the park.
I hear you get a free month if you buy the collector's
Right?
edition.
Yeah.
Oh my. Wait. Oh damn. Did I buy the wrong thing? Oh no! I bought an MMO.
Oh, are you talking about maybe that VR headset, the Oculus Raft?
This is not good. No wonder it was so cheap.
You know, for those of you who didn't make it to the pre-show, we have been ribbing Harry pretty much non-stop about the incoming Oculus Rift, otherwise known as the Vive he wished he'd purchased.
You're just trying to hurt me now.
Maybe.
I wanted, yes, but that's jealousy. I wanted a
Little
Rift,
bit.
and I'm getting a Rift. Actually, the thing is, this is a big misunderstanding. People seem to think that Vive is the thing that you do, the walking in a room thing, and Rift is just sitting down and playing games. But actually, both can do the same things. Dun dun dun. No. So you can actually do the room scale stuff with a Rift, which is awesome. And Steam is actually going out of its way to make Rift compatible with all the games that you can play in the Vive.
Yeah, didn't they also unlock a lot of the Rift exclusive stuff after all the outrage that came out of that whole exclusivity thing?
Well, this is the interesting thing. Oculus is trying to invent itself. That's basically what they're doing, and they're not only creating a new headset, the Oculus Rift. They're also doing a store, the Oculus Home Store, which is positioned as a competitor to Steam, but only obviously for VR games. And they decided that they're investing in games for Oculus Rift that were supposed to be exclusive to the headset. So they're actually developing, financing. It's in-house. It's like Uncharted for Sony. It's those type of first-party games that are created by them, and they don't want them to be sold on other headsets because they want it to be a unique selling point for the Rift. And then some clever little hacker created a workaround, a patch that took out the checks for if you were actually using a Rift to play it. And that became a huge kerfuffle, especially when Oculus tried to recheck the thing, and everybody hated Oculus, and they were evil, and all of a sudden Oculus said, okay, remove the checks. It's still exclusive, but it really isn't anymore. So that's me being on Reddit, just reciting all the posts that I've read and followed. But it's not really that interesting because now all headsets can play all games from all things, and that's good. Everybody should play everything they can.
All right, on the Vive.
Well, if you want to be on the Vive, I mean, if you want to have the lesser experience and the heavier headset and a lesser screen, then please go ahead, pay more. I'm not a fanboy. Honestly, I'm not.
No,
Not
that's very, very even-handed on both your parts. Actually, it's a credit to journalism that you guys could both be so just the facts, ma'am. Just the facts.
Actually, I tried a Vive on a Unity event in Amsterdam a couple of weeks ago, and it's a perfectly fine head. I can't really tell the difference if I'm wearing them. I must say, and this is just the God honest truth. The Rift is lighter and a little bit more comfortable. It doesn't slip off your head as easily when you're bending down.
Right.
But screen quality and stuff like that, it's just the Vive is a great system. It's just I prefer the Rift for two reasons. First, it's cheaper, slightly cheaper, and second, it has the friendly letters "Don't panic." Oh wait, that's the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Okay, but and I'm gonna hijack you and get you into the next discussion here, and Bill can talk about what he's done in a minute. We're talking VR. You got to try out a PSVR demo just this past week, right?
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. I'm a big fan of PlayStation VR because if Sony is doing it right, they can actually launch VR into so many living rooms. That's going to be awesome. And they had a little post E3 event in Amsterdam where journalists could try out some of their demos. And one of the things I played a couple of things. The first one was I did this one before, and it's an older PSVR demo where you are in a diver cage and you're lowered into the deeps, which is a very graphically impressive environment. It immediately shows that PlayStation is capable of doing interesting VR scenes. And you're dropped down and you see jellyfish and what have you floating around. And it's all very pleasant until the actual shark shows up and attacks the cage and then rips off the door of the front of the cage and then lunges at you, and its nose is coming actually into the cage. And I knew the second time that this was going to happen, and I still screamed because the feeling of something big getting into your personal space is so overwhelmingly convincing. And I find that a good thing. In fact, the fact that convinces me that there is some kind of danger, that there's this big thing with teeth that's actually there. So I was quite sold on PlayStation VR, and especially I played Battlezone, and you guys remember Battlezone.
Yeah, that's
You
like
you have the right age.
Yeah, the wireframe one, right?
Yeah, that's the original. That's the big cabinet that they had with a periscope and two sticks to control it. And they've done a lot of remakes. One of them was actually pretty good. In '98, they had an RTS tank FPS hybrid, which was awesome. This is not that. This is basically going back to the original, but it's not wireframe. It's very Tron-like. Well, yeah. How else can I say? Like neon, polygonal, large-scale computer-like structures where you're driving this tank, and other tanks are there, and you have to navigate the landscape, and it's a fun shooter. The only thing that I noticed immediately, you strafe in that tank, and strafing kind of, if you're sensitive to it, can induce motion sickness in VR.
Oh.
So it's kind of it's not as bad as I expected. I've had worse experiences, but it's not something you have to get into and play for an hour, and you have to ease yourself into it. You have to get your VR legs, as they are called. before you can actually do a longer session. I played the demo twice because I had the time to do so, and I wasn't getting sick, but I was getting a little bit lightheaded, and that's from about 15 minutes of play. But
Okay.
it is awesome because you're sitting in a cockpit, and one of the little cool things of PlayStation VR is if you look at your PlayStation 4 controller at the back of it, you have this light. Everybody knows the little light. Some people even put a sticker on it because it's distracting. And now it has a use, because if you are using PlayStation VR, the camera that's tracking your headset also tracks your controller. So you have, in certain games like this one, a physical or a virtual representation of the controller in your hands. So if you are playing the game and you don't know what button to push, the game tells you press X to do this or that.
Right.
You can look down and you can put the control. You can just manipulate the controller as if it was in your hands and it's on the correct location. So this is an incredibly useful tool for seeing what you're doing in the game. And there are games that do more with that tracking of the controller, but in this case, it's just a handy little tooltip that you immediately know. Okay, I have to press square to change weapons. Where's the square? Okay, it's over there. It's easy. And it's things like that Sony can do that make me, well, this is not a Sony game, but the Sony system can do, that I'm very impressed by.
Yeah,
So
and looking at the video, it looks like you just have this floaty controller in front of you, which is really cool. It takes away from the freakiness that I felt playing Elite Dangerous in VR and having somebody else's hands moving on all the buttons on the joystick, which was incredibly freaky.
The thing with Elite Dangerous, I've played some with DK2, and what I started to notice, if you have your throttle and stick set up in the same configuration as the game, then I'm starting to see those arms as my arms, because my hands are at the same place as the so if you're using a Hoda setup, I don't feel that disconnect. But if I would be playing this with a controller, which you can also do, then you would have that feeling of disembodiment.
No, it was when the thumb would move to do something, and I hadn't moved my thumb, and that was freaky.
I know, and sometimes if you look on to your hands, they are like drumming a little bit impatiently or something like that, little random, and you're absolutely right. That's weird.
Yeah. What else have you done, Harry? Now that we've talked enough VR for several months.
A friend of mine said, he said, Harry, it's like you've one of those newborn religious types. You're like preaching. He said it's not just you're preaching about VR every moment you get the chance, but that PlayStation VR demo. He says you were trying to convince me to come with you, to become part of the group, to drink the water, and all I could do is agree.
Come try this. You'll like it. You'll really like it. Here's some Kool-Aid.
You can see a better place. I can show you the lights. Just put on the headset.
It's like Star Trek: The Next Generation with the game. Get it in the cones. Tell me you know what I'm talking about.
It's exactly like it's one of the worst episodes ever.
Oh, but it's got Ashley Judd. It's got Ashley Judd. Come on. Anyway, Bill, you know what episode we're talking about too, right? Please.
I'm really trying hard to place it.
Everybody's got an orgasm. Everybody's got an orgasm face when they have this kind of Google Glass thing on their face, and they're playing this holographic game with a kind of a freaky organic looking tornado that's sucking up discs, and every time it goes in, they look like they're having intense pleasure. And that's very uncomfortable to look at, especially if you see Will Wheaton do that just next to his mother. It's very, very odd. Mm-hmm. And then everybody on the Enterprise is taken over by some kind of mind control. Spoiler alert for a 25-year-old show. Yeah. But it's actually...
Here it is. I found it. There you go. For everyone who's interested in seeing it, I'm playing it here for the viewers.
You're playing it now. Yeah, right. Okay, so you're taking over the ship.
Such a great game. It's a good
Anyway,
game.
another thing there is we're talking about the Steam sale later, but there is also a Oculus Home sale. Stale. Is that a Freudian slip? It's and their sale is until July 5th. So no competition there at all. One of the games that's on sale there is Defense Grid 2. And I fired up my Xbox One and I noticed I own Defense Grid 2. I didn't know it. It was one of those games that came with gold. You know, you click on them, you get them without looking at them, and then they're just there. And now all of a sudden I realized I had a game that I was contemplating buying for. And it's a tower defense game. I don't know if you guys played it ever.
No.
Nobody played it, I think. But I'm playing it now. Well, not now, but I played it yesterday on my Xbox One just because I was wondering if I should get it in VR. I'm not getting it in VR, but I am having fun with it on the Xbox One.
Okay.
I usually don't like tower defense games. I find them very, passive, and that's the kind of the genre. You just have to stand there back and wait.
Right.
But it got a nice crunchy design. There is this lame little story, and it feels like I'm making kind of a destruction assembly line with all kinds of, and it's relaxing. It's not stressful like an RTS, and even though it's a little tense because you got creatures coming in through the lanes and have to get your cores, and you have to prevent them from getting that, and you can put up towers of all kinds of stuff. And for the first time ever, I'm enjoying a tower defense game. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just a fun game. I don't know.
Oh, cool.
Who knew? So if you got it on your, if you already have it, I would recommend checking it out. I'm not sure I would pay $30 for it, to be quite honest. I did a little bit of The Witcher 3, I think, but I don't really remember. The last couple of weeks were kind of a blur, not just because I had a root canal, which was incredibly frustrating and painful, but also because I have been living on my webpage, refreshing Reddit on the shipping thread. Everybody's reporting in if their Rift systems have shipped. And I don't know why, but I do know why, but I've been following that for about 48 hours every day. Yes, I said 48 hours.
Dual screen, right?
Have you reported on the Reddit thread?
I
Lurker.
have.
Oh,
No,
there's hesitation.
I'm not a lurker, but I have a secret identity that I do not want to divulge. Because I realized if I want to post something fanboyish, I might not do it on one of my own name.
That might have some effect.
Exactly. So that's basically my week, and today is the day. Is the day. Salvation is here, and if that thing is broken, I'm going over to Palmer Lucky's house, and I'm going to beg him for a replacement.
Oh, that's
So,
funny.
Bill, what have you been doing?
Not very much. I've been on the road a little bit. So for most of last week, I didn't really get to play anything. The only thing I've played is basically the worst game that anybody's ever made, and it's becoming a blight on the face of the planet. And I'm talking, of course, about Overwatch. It's just awful. It's the worst thing that's ever happened, and my opinion of it will change by tomorrow, after I finally break my losing streak. But it's no. I'm still enjoying Overwatch. I just, I die a little bit inside when I set up and I choose a hero and there's 3 Genjis all around me, and it's oh. It's basically like stepping into a raid and everybody but you is a rogue.
Yeah. Oh, so like Vanilla WoW.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So, anyway, that
Fashion
was.
faux pas of all wearing the same.
We're
I
all
should have
throwing
worn my
this-
rogue costume.
We're all throwing the same ninja stars. That's so awkward.
Yeah.
So that's really it. I got into the Steam sale a bit, and then we'll talk about that here shortly. And There's not even anything else that I wish I was playing. I hovered a little bit over my Guild Wars 2 icon. We're going to talk about that here in a bit too. I hovered over the Elite Dangerous icon, and I was really tempted. I actually have come full circle in Elite Dangerous. I was really excited. I bought that Vulture about a month and a half ago, and I was really enjoying heavy-duty combat and everything. And then I started to really not do very well in heavy-duty combat. So now I want to get back into that, explore everything, start to do some resource extraction, surface exploration, and that kind of thing. Especially now with the engineers patch that's supposedly really boosted my video performance. I was on planet surfaces. My card was really chugging quite badly. So with the patch, I need to be able to rebuy my lander. But once I do, I actually want to see if it's actually playable on the planet surface now.
If I may ask, you were running into difficulties in the combat. Was that after the engineers patch dropped?
Oh,
did you have
absolutely,
anything?
yeah.
Sorry?
Absolutely, after the patch, yeah. Before the patch, I was mowing down pythons. I could whittle down an anaconda if I needed to, but I was just basically a monster out there. And now I'm a very little fish in a very big sea.
And did you see any of the unexpected? Because there was this kind of bug in the game where the NPCs mutated in a way where they got all the uber upgrades from the engineers in single weapons. So you could have a railgun with the FPS of a beam laser, which is ridiculous. That's like looking at you and dying. Did you get any of those effects?
No, I dodged that. I read the forums before I played and realized I didn't want to play like that because I didn't have that much money in the bank. And I waited until they patched that out. So that's when I started playing again. And it's still tough. Like even just the AI improvements are significant, especially when you're one on three, which is a fight that I could usually win before. Now 1-on-3 is if I can get one of them down, that's a victory. Otherwise, most of the time I just turn tail and better part of valor my way out of there.
Brave Sir Robin.
Yeah,
I will see that tonight. That's one of the first games I'm going to try. Because as you know, I held off on playing.
Oh, you have to let me know how it looks on the Vive.
Give me a few years and I'll probably tell you.
After he goes down to the thrift shop and gets one, and
Yeah.
It was 99 cents. Anyways.
yeah.
But this is sorry, completely random. But do you guys remember when the iPhone and the first iPad launched? Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And have you ever seen one of those first generation devices after you've gotten used to the high resolution Retina displays that both, Android and iPhone screens are incredibly improved over the years. Mm-hmm. And if you go back, it's almost like you're looking through foggy lenses at letters.
Yeah.
You didn't notice it back then.
My wife still has an iPad too, so I have it actually right in front of my face.
So then it's so weird, and the jump in resolution. In a couple of years, that Rift that I'm now so desperate to get is going to be like that. It's going to be one of those low res. Oh my God, how could we live with this type of devices?
Yes, it will. And you're getting that now. Just keep
it's
remembering that.
As long as you're aware, it is technically true. I still think it's worth it to jump in, and had I more time and cash at my disposal, I'd probably do it. But it is a sad fact for everybody who's jumping into VR right now that next year VR is going to be even prettier and better, and it's going to make
cheaper.
Your first gen look look. It's going to make it look like you sure hope you got lots of enjoyment out of it when it was new and fresh.
Exactly. Good turn of phrase. But so did you play anything else? I'm taking over Chris's.
This is we're Chrising now. That was all of my week. I think I stretched that as much as I possibly could. Chris, you must have played something this week, right?
I did. I played a few things, some Overwatch like you did, some Star Wars Battlefront, the new best bit. I hadn't tried out the new Cloud City stuff.
How is that?
Fun. different types of Walker Assaults maps. I like the control point ones. The Fighter Squadron one is much more open than any of the other ones so far, which I really like. I'm enjoying it. The new weapons are
It's
good.
a free update, right?
No, it's part of Seasons Pack. So it's Season Pack right now. But I believe the way that they've done it so far is that the people who haven't bought it got it a month or so after. Those of us who bought the Seasons Pass.
So everybody's going to get it anyway.
At some point, yeah.
It's just that's what they did with the first Gears of War when they announced the first map pack. Everybody was outraged that they were asking money for DLC because nobody has ever done that before. And then they decided to
Horse
make
armor.
Sorry, that was actually level packs, and it was I think $15. And then after 6 months they went free, but they announced it at launch. Like first 6 months you pay for it, and after so this is the same deal basically.
Looks like, yeah. But I'm enjoying it. It's really my sit down, don't want to think, just want to play. It's much less intense for me at least than Overwatch because there's so many more people that are playing at the same time. My personal skill does not decide necessarily the outcome of the match, although I'm finally getting to the point where I regularly have more kills than deaths, which took this long to get to. Yes. You can laugh. It's okay.
I understand completely.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then some Lotro and did some skirmishes with Carrie. We're at the point now where we both need to run through the story instances on our off servers. She's got a character on Brandywine that she leveled up but hasn't gone through the story. To get through some of the skirmishes, they're locked behind the story, so we're going to go through and do that for a little while, and then I need to do the same thing on Brandywine. Or on Landreval, I'm sorry. Second most played game for me was World of Warcraft, and I want to remind everyone, I've got a link in the show notes, and I threw it out in chat, a straw poll link. I'll just throw it out there again in case anybody's joined chat recently. That is what class I'm going to use my level boost on for Legion. And so right now still Mage, but Hunter and Monk are climbing up. Mage has 31%, but Hunter and Monk are tied at 13% of the vote. So if you want to vote on which class I should use my level 100 boost for, then let me know there. I may even take that class through Legion first, depending on what people vote on. So take a look at that there, and take a look at the show notes if you want to take a look. What I've played the most, though, Harry, you're going to be disappointed, happy, and sad all at the same time. I've played Elder Scrolls Online the most this week. This last little while, I'm hooked right now. I'm into it. I want to play more. I want to get further in the game. I'm thinking about leveling my Nightblade all the way up to max level because I'm really enjoying it. And what it comes down to, quite simply, is stabby. I went dual wield, and I'm stabbing the crap out of everything. It's fun. I'm like, I've got the build I've got now. It's stealth and teleport in and burst. And
it's always good. It's always good when your work and your hobby aligns.
So I will walk up. I'll stealth till I get in a good position. I will do my teleport in, or I will do my backstab, and then bam, 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 bam. I use all my attacks, and everybody dies. It's just bodies at my feet and pools of blood around me. It's wonderful. I really enjoy it. I can't wait till I get weapon swapping. I'm almost there, and then I can have my bow, and then I can pew, 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 stealth, backstab, teleport, stab, 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 stab.
Actually, you're making a convincing argument for trying the game out again.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I love the character progression, and I'm actually happy that you're enjoying it because that is good. That means they've done a lot to it to improve it. I'm just kind of worried that I'll hate it again and have to go through that intro again. And
yeah, that's you can skip the intro though.
Yeah, but then still, I mean, you can skip the first escape from hell bits, and
Yeah.
that's good because that's not interesting if you've done it once or twice, or in my case 4
Yeah.
times. It's not fun. But after that, you still have to get to that prophet guy, and you have to go to that cave, and it's the first bit that's just the same again, and it doesn't matter what side
Yep.
you pick apparently, and that's something that I don't want to do again.
Yep. No, I totally get it. But yeah, I'm having fun. I'm having the funs. Having lots of the funs.
I'm actually waiting until they've opened up that level scaling.
Oh, the
system
one
where you can
Tamriel that we talked about last week? Yeah.
That would be the reason for me to give that game a solid second chance and actually get into it, and might even buy the DLC if I like it.
Yeah, I've got enough to buy a couple of the DLC. And but I'm flip-flopping because I don't know if I want to go through the DLC in order of how it was released, or if I want to go through specific ones, because it won't matter once I've gone.
There's no story tie.
Once one Tamriel is through, there won't be levels. There won't be anything holding me back from doing it in whatever freaking order I want to. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm still figuring that. I got time. I got lots of time. I don't need to worry. I don't need to rush it. So that's what we've been doing in game this week. If you want to help us continue making these wonderful shows, the streams that we do, and the YouTube videos that we put out, go check out patreon.com/MMO Reporter and consider becoming a patron. When you are there, you can take a look at some of our goals for the funds that we raise, as well as some of the rewards that our patrons get, which include our Slack chat, as well as access to some prizes. So go check that out, patreon.com/MMO Reporter. 'Cause I already know
What would you do if you dared boot threat from me? More than words to show you get that you need to let me think. What would you say?
Well, Bill, I know that this is an annual tradition for you where you, open up your wallet. It creaks open as you slowly unfold it, as you lay your credit cards down to the Gaben and to the Steam sale gods. Bill, how has your sacrifice gone this year?
So far, it's been pretty reasonable. After I wanted to jump in on your comments about Elder Scrolls Online because I actually finally bought it. So it's sitting there, it's downloading and happening and everything like that. Sadly, that's probably going to be the most expensive game I buy for a very long time because we looked at the system requirements and it is officially too needy for my wife's computer. So that's going to be a project in the future. So but that's always fun. Building computers is fun, and it's expensive and it's fun. But I bought Elder Scrolls. I bought Transformers Devastations on a good sale right now, and I bought that just for G1 nostalgia. I have a sneaky feeling this game is going to be awful, but I'm going to enjoy G1 styled Optimus Prime, and I'm going to forget that Michael Bay ever happened, and it's going to make me happy.
That's funny.
Other than that, I also finally took the plunge on Guild of Dungeoneering, and that's when I actually played at PAX last fall.
Awesome.
And I was horrible at it. I could not figure out the first stinking level. And
What? That's the card game, right? That's that's so cute. That's okay.
It's not easy. Harry, have you played it very much?
Well, I managed to finish the first dungeon without any. It didn't stress me out. I mean, it got more difficult later on, but it's not like it's this wall of
Well,
So I'm curious why you didn't get through the first bit.
I think it has a lot to do with the fact that I'm really stupid, like right down to the core.
I wasn't saying that. I was just I'm
I don't know. I sat there and I spent like 15 minutes. I had a line of people, like they were maybe not a line, but that those people that kind of mill around waiting for a station to open up and step in. So I had that, and I tried it, and I mean, thankfully my wife was beside me as well, and she tried it, and she couldn't do it either. So I was a little bit vindicated. It wasn't just a moment of mental collapse, but Anyway, so I'm going to give all those a try. Hopefully, in my spare time, that will happen when I get all these weeks off this summer. Oh wait, that's not me. That's someone else.
Hey,
anyway,
by the way, Man of Games 117 said that they picked up Secret World on.
Good.
On Steam, so that's on there. That's a good MMO to get. Yep. I know Leonor was a big fan of Secret World, as is Carrie.
Considering it's a buy-to-play game and it's still well maintained, it should be in just about everybody's library. It's a solid game. It's an MMO that steps into a genre that's very lightly touched by MMOs.
Yeah.
In terms of that kind of that sci-fi monster horror type of game, and it should be in your library, especially when Steam sales are up. So if you're feeling a little apathetic about Guild Wars 2, or you're patiently waiting for Legion to come out, Secret World it's a good filler. It's worth a try for anyone out there. So definitely check it out. But yeah, that's all I've dove into so far. I've hovered over the Fallout 4 many times. I'm that guy that didn't buy Fallout 4 when it first came out, so they're basically trying to sell this to me. But there might be one or two other people. But anyway, that's been on my list.
Did you mention Sins of the Solar Empire already?
I haven't got there yet, but I plan to. You know what? I was actually looking at buying Sins of the Solar Empire.
I'm sorry, because I saw it on your list and I thought you have to get that.
I have a work buddy that was just over the moon, no pun intended, for this game. Sins of the Solar Empire, it's actually by Stardock, which is a company. I was only ever familiar with Stardock because of their little Windows applications that they make.
Yes.
Like the start menu enhancements and like the window blinds application, that kind of thing. But they have a game development studio as well. And this is, he couldn't speak highly enough about Sins of the Solar Empire. And I saw that it's on sale. I saw it's another Space 4X game, and I was sure that Harry would have an opinion on it.
Get that game. It's fun. It's oddly more RTS. It's real time. It's not a turn-based game.
Oh, okay.
It is very much a 4X game, but because it is real time, and you have to manage your fleets during battle in 3D space, you can let the game autoplay itself, but it's way more fun to actually control them and select targets and basically play it like Homeworld. Mm-hmm. And it's just an awesome 4X game. Stellaris is way better because it's deeper, but if you just want that feeling of huge fleets conquering the universe and actually having more control over that bit, it's something you, especially 75% off. You can't go wrong. If you're a space nerd, this is a great game. Get that.
Yeah, that's a good one. Or there you go. I probably will now. Shadows of Mordor, 75% off. If you haven't bought that yet, that still stands up very nicely, and that's probably one of the most fun game blitzes that I've had in a really long time. I'm also really curious. Technomancer is releasing tomorrow, and it's actually releasing 10% off on the Steam sale. And I was kind of looking through that, and it's a current gen RPG type game in post-apocalyptic terrible venues and backgrounds and stuff. Anyway, I don't know a lot about it. It jumped out at me. It's popped up in some of the gaming queues when I go through the Steam discovery queue, as well as kind of the ads that have been popping up lately. So it's caught my interest. I'm curious to try that out. Makes me wish for the days of demos. But anyway, That's what's kind of caught my eye. How about you, Chris? What are you lusting after from Steam?
Well, I've been surprisingly uninterested. This is the second Steam sale in a row, I think, where I'm more meh than interested about anything. But I think the one thing that catches my eye more than anything else is Call of the Starseed, which is a game that we played. Let me rephrase that Matt and I played at PAX Prime. Although, did you guys notice they're calling it PAX West, not PAX Prime anymore?
Yeah, they changed it.
I think that's, they wanted all PAXs to be equal, I think.
People's feelings were hurt.
I'm still calling it PAX Prime. Anyways, so this is a game I played on the HTC Vive, by the way.
Sorry, that raspberry just got me.
And what was really, I think, the best way to describe this is Myst in VR, done very, very well. More tactile, obviously, but this is a puzzle game, and with light combat-ish sort of stuff. But this, I think, you could easily call this Myst in VR and be really, really happy about it. So if you've got an HTC Vive, is this for just HTC Vive. This is not for Oculus Rift at all. Although, Harry, you were saying there's some stuff that's been done that allows for games to be played with the Oculus Rift that are meant for the Vive?
Well, meant for the Vive is really a misnomer. Steam VR is the platform, and Oculus Rift can run all Steam VR games. The only thing that Vive is packed with 2 tracked controllers.
Yeah.
Very advanced versions of the Wiimotes.
Yeah.
Don't even compare to them. And things like that, of those controllers are coming to Rift as well, second half of this year. And if you already have a competing tracked controller, for example, the Razer Hydras, which are not in production anymore, if I'm correct, but if you have those, you can already play all the Vive games on your Rift, because Steam VR doesn't care what headset you have. It just all those things are abstracted, so your control scheme is abstracted to it's not tied to the hardware.
Okay.
So I can play this tonight if I would want to.
If you have the controllers.
I do have the controllers.
Perfect.
I have Hydras.
If you like puzzle games at all, Harry, you need to play this game. This is very, very well done. The significant demo, I think we played a good 15, 20 minutes of it at PAX, was fantastic. Was really, really fantastic. The puzzles were fun. The story got me hooked. I was interested. I want to know what happens, to the point where I would probably... once this game has been out for a little bit while longer and there's some Let's Plays, I will probably follow through just to get a chance to see the story. And so that's my Steam sale recommendation, and it's currently 20% off. So go check it out.
Well, it's brand new too. That's an April release.
You're saying it's kind of like Myst, which I find that's one of the types of games that I want in VR, like a quiet, relaxing puzzle game with presence. And I found out just recently that the actual creators of Myst and Riven are doing a VR spiritual successor to Myst.
There you go.
In VR, it's called Abduction. And it's a very similar setup, being alone in a strange world and figuring out the logic and rules and finding story logs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So this is a genre that I think will open it up for so many people, because I'm absolutely certain that if you are put in pretty environments and challenged with fun puzzles, that's the best use of VR yet.
I would play this. I would not play Myst. I don't like puzzle games like Myst. I really enjoyed this. That's because I'm a sucker for eye candy.
That's good. That's a good distinction, because if the puzzles are a bit too obtuse, it's not your thing.
No,
that's a fair thing.
Yeah. All right, Harry. What about you? Quick thoughts on the Steam sale. What are you looking at?
Well, there are three titles that are basically calling to me. The first is Universe Sandbox 2, and it's basically what it says on the tin. You are kind of a virtual god, and you can spawn planets and make them rotate and bump into each other. And it has excellent VR support. So I think that would be a fun and relaxing way of destroying some worlds and see what happens. And I wait until it's a little bit cheaper, because even if it's on the sale, it's still a little bit too expensive for me right now. But that's something that's calling to me. Another one that I'm very interested in is Europa Universalis 4, which is a Paradox created game. That's the same creators of Stellaris and of Crusader Kings. And I've heard so many great stories about this game. It's a very complex and very inaccessible game for newcomers, but I'm a sucker for grand strategy. It's something I really want to get into.
Yeah.
So this is something that's kind of pulling at me. And Project Cars, I can almost not resist that, because this is for racing games what Elite Dangerous is for space sims. It's completely integrated with VR support, so you're in a car, in any car that's in the game, fully rendered cockpits, and if you have a racing wheel, and I hear the Xbox 360 wheel that I have is compatible with PC, so I'm all set. And you have this excellent true racing simulator experience. And that's for $15 is something I might just not be able to resist.
Wow. It's a good deal.
So yeah, so those are the three games that jumped out at me. There's a ton more, but well, as I said, just bought a little expensive thing, so I might just have to do with it. And I have already so many VR stuff installed. So I might just sit this sale out and be smart and reasonable. Oh wait, I bought 3 games.
Yeah, 'tis the life of someone who has Steam installed on their computer. It's just like, oh, that looks interesting. Oh well, maybe next sale. Oh darn it, I just bought it.
Well, on one note, I mean, you said something that I find interesting. You said it was it felt a bit meh to you, the Steam sale. Mm-hmm. And I do think this has to do with the revised setup. They used to do daily deals and hourly deals and all kinds of ways. They were constantly teasing you to get back to the sale and see what else is on sale. And it was a game. It felt like a game. It was evil. It was horrible, but it was a game. And the only winning move was buy everything. So, but they quit that, and now it's just okay. Here's 40 games that are discounted. Go. And it isn't as fun anymore. It's good for my wallet, but it's not the experience that it was. It was the game buying MMO.
Shut up, Harry. Stop being right.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna move on
here. It's a curse. I'm always right. I know.
We're gonna move on before Harry goes broke buying too many Steam games.
I'm always right. That's such a curse.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, but I don't see a hashtag Harry was right on Twitter. I do see hashtag Chris was right. Thanks again from Chicago.
Well, I also have a Cassandra complex. I know the truth, but everybody disbelieves me.
Right. Sorry, I don't believe you. All right, moving on to the next story. Wildstar is offering max level character boosts. Is this going to make a difference for everyone? They don't have a price yet. Basically, they're going to boost you to max level so you can get into all the new content, give you gear, etc., etc. We've seen this in other games before. They're not announcing a cost. Bill, is this going to make a difference for you getting into Wildstar?
I doubt it. I don't know. I understand it. I see the value in the move, but for me, I've always enjoyed the leveling up process in MMOs. Like to me, that's the biggest part of the fun. That's when I'm feeling most engaged, is when I'm actually climbing the ladder, building my guy and building my skills and seeing the increases in damage and everything like that, and then dealing with it when my damage and my survivability falls off, and having to redo my character, my gear, and that whole kind of stepladder type growth I enjoy. And if I just shot up to level 50 in Wildstar, I would just be a terrible Wildstar player looking for something to do. And I don't know. Me personally, I'd get bored really fast. That said, the people who are looking to catch up to their friends that are already at level 50 and are looking to kind of run through, basically just be in the game with the people that are already there, this is a good move. I understand it completely, but it doesn't ring my bell.
Harry, what about you? Are you feeling a little more excited by this?
I want to, because I know how much you care about this game. But it's fallen
okay.
off my radar so far.
It's okay.
I need depth charges to wedge it away from the rock that it's been stuck into. I don't care anymore about Wildstar. I wish I did, but I don't.
It's okay. You can just
I don't
go play.
even care
you
about
and your,
not
You
caring.
and your HTC Vive can just go screw yourselves.
There are sites that provide certain videos.
All right. For me, you know what? I've got my character up there. I might use one to get. I've always wanted to have a medic up at max level, and time is not on my side, so I might use one. But it's not going to get me into the game more. But I'm already interested in the game, so as you noticed by the lack of Wildstar on my played this week list. All right, Bill. Why don't you get into the next? Speaking of
Sure.
not caring about a game.
Well, and I really want to get up in arms and angry at you for saying that, because Guild Wars 2 is the greatest MMO that's ever been made. But
Yay!
Anyway, there's a post over on MMORPG.com that actually links to a better post over on Reddit.com talking about apathy in the Guild Wars 2 community, and kind of talking about how basically there's a big fall off. There's a perceived fall off anyway in how interesting the game is right now. And it kind of delves into the history of it, at least going back to this time last year, when people they at least had a little bit of Heart of Thorns hype that they could build on. They had some minor goals that they kind of worked toward. And it was worth it to kind of chunk through and keep going on Guild Wars 2, despite a horrible dearth of content. Well, here we are now in 2016. The expansion has come and gone. Most of the people have actually played through most of, if not all of, everything that the expansion has had to offer. And now we're in yet another content dearth, where there's been no new zones, no new story quests. They've added some raid wings, but I mean, come on. Really? This is well, it's been
A
mathematic.
raid, really? That's so
It's-
2007, man.
It's mathematically shown that nobody raids. There's a tiny percentage of the people that raid. They sold the expansion on the fact that it's the hardest content that Guild Wars 2 has ever made, and that you need ascended gear to even be able to step in and participate. And nobody's there. Nobody's going to put in that kind of effort just to try to get into that tiny slice of content. But that's the only new content that we've really seen since winter, or the winter update. So other than the burst of what's the event called? That's the 8-bit style.
Super Adventure Box.
Thank you, Sab. Super Adventure
welcome.
Box. So there just hasn't been anything. So I will always be a Guild Wars 2 apologist. I still think it's an amazing product that they've made, and it's a great game. And if you've never tried it, it's worth trying, because while I'm feeling the content dearth, anybody who's never tried it is going to have a buttload and a half of content to try out. But I totally have Guild Wars 2 apathy right now. Took me a while to get there, but yes, I'm an apatholic.
So you're addicted to not caring. That's a very interesting conundrum. The bad thing about the article, I just want to get this out of the way. I hated the article in MMORPG for the for measuring apathy of the game to Twitter followers.
Oh, I died a little when they said that. Especially, if it had been a significant number, like they mentioned that they counted up the Twitter followers over what was it, a period of about a month and a half or 2 months. Guild Wars 2, for example, was sitting at about 316,800 followers, and they took an indication that over 2 months it had dropped down to 316,600 followers as a sign that there was an apathy in the Guild Wars 2 crowd. And that is, if it was 20,000 followers or 100,000 followers or an actual real number, you know what? I could have bought into that, and that would have said, oh yeah, that's an indicator. But 200 people doesn't even move the friggin' needle. It's horrible.
If I look at my own, obviously I'm not a Twitter superstar, but I have almost 1,000 followers on Twitter. Please follow me at Harry Hall and make it an even 1,000. But if I look at, I'm not that into the stats, but sometimes I look at Twitter analytics and you can see who's following and who's unfollowing you, and percentage-wise, I have the same drop and rise every month too, because you have all those fake following accounts that are cleaned up once in a while by Twitter, and that is what you're seeing there. The drop is 200 followers on a couple 100,000 followers. It's completely nothing.
And the best was that they took that 200 follower drop and then correlated that to a 20 follower rise in Lord of the Rings Online.
Yeah, but
it's math. This is like easy stuff. I know it's summer and I know it's hard to find things to write about, but that paragraph was that's a horrible waste of bits that the internet will never get back.
Yes, and if you want to write about something, because the actual Reddit post was well reasoned. But it's also the natural up and down of any MMO.
It's very anecdotal, like big warning, it is anecdotal. We're not talking about somebody who's actually talking about trends. It's more about what they personally perceive, which is fine as long as you know that's what it is. Even though but
I have binges in MMOs now, not year-long relationships. I used to have those with games. No, but it's. I'm not even trying to be funny here. My way of playing of MMOs has changed, and I'm obviously not patient zero. But I do think everybody else. I think most people have changed their approach to MMOs, and I think it's rare that people stick with a game year round. I think people dive in for a couple of weeks, couple of months when the new content comes out. I think and Guild Wars 2 is not different from any other game. I do agree, by the way, that they should get their fingers out and actually at least give the impression of adding stuff. Because remember when Guild Wars 2 started and everything was they pumped in too much content.
Mm-hmm. Well, you couldn't
keep up.
There was every 2 weeks there'd be something. It would be little. It might be just a couple of zones affected slightly by the story, but there would be something happening. And I can't believe that it's impossible to keep that momentum going. It doesn't take a lot, but just to show that something's happening.
But I think that if they're launching a new season of the Living Story, things will. Because if they're doing that on a regular interval, it's good. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with the game anymore.
Regular interval, though. Like the rumor that is floating around now is that we might be still 3 months out from Living Season 3. So a full 9 months, a full baby's worth after the expansion came out, the story continues. That seems long.
Well, maybe everybody on the team either got pregnant or got somebody pregnant, and now they're just having to deal with that. It could happen. If we're talking about statistics, it is a possibility.
It is technically possible, and you are technically right, Harry. Pretty
sure
there's
that's kind of correct.
I'm pretty sure there's an XKCD for that.
I'm rewatching Futurama, and there is this. Never mind. It's a tangent. I don't. I will get back to Guild Wars 2. I love that game, and I'm not playing it now for reasons. I'll get back to it.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, and this is the thing. I don't mean to say that Guild Wars 2, like, it feels like a conversation that's saying that Guild Wars 2 is dying. It's not dying, but there's apathy out there. It's a good game that needs life injected into it.
Yeah, sorry. I tried to follow along, but I was just too apathetic to the whole conversation.
You've always been a Guild Wars 2 hater. You never recovered from the fact that it was better than Wildstar.
Sorry, better than what?
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm sorry. I thought you were trying to compare Guild Wars 2 to Wildstar, and I didn't think you would actually follow through with that statement. So I assumed you were talking about something else.
That XKCD that Bill linked to me in private chat should definitely go into the show notes, because it's how is it XKCD is the I Ching. It has everything. There is a wise comic for every occasion.
There's an XKCD for every notion, and there's a Simpsons for every joke.
Yeah. Yes, there is.
If you have XKCD and the Simpsons together, then you know everything, basically.
Pretty much. Really, that's just it. And I already showed it to the live stream and our video viewers, and I've linked it in the show notes. So there we go. Are we done this conversation, gentlemen? I think it's time to move on before our audience becomes too apathetic.
Maybe we're going to send 200 new Twitter followers over to XKCD, and he'll go crazy.
That's statistically significant.
That is statistically significant. Everything is statistically significant, though.
That's not true.
No,
Some
that's
things
not
are
true,
statistically insignificant.
No, that's not true, because their insignificance is significant.
No,
I don't think you really understand the meaning of either statistics or
You know what? That's
insignificant.
inconceivable.
You keep using that word.
But
I don't think it means what you think it means.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let's...
I'm with Bill on this.
Let's move things along. Talk about our sponsors real quick. First of all, Audible. Go to audiblepodcast.com/MMO Reporter. If you would like to get your audiobook fix taken care of by the best audiobook provider on the interwebs, audiblepodcast.com/MMO Reporter. They have some pretty great books there. With that URL, you will get yourself a deal where you get your first month free. With that first month, you get one book credit. So you will be able to get one book for free. And here's the thing, use up that credit, you have that book forever. As long as Audible is still going, you will be able to access that book, download it, listen to it however you would like to. So go check out audiblepodcast.com/MMO Reporter. And of course, our friends over at Doghouse Systems, use the coupon code use the coupon code MMO Reporter, and you will get a free 120 gig SSD added to your purchase. So you can get yourself a computer and add a free 120 gig SSD that's perfect for your Steam sale purchases. And now let's move things along to the next segment. Stealing thread off of the tank. Overhealing, you'll get no thanks. Too much DPS without a rest. Seeing if your healer is up to the test. Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die.
That transition was so perfect that it was almost like you were just bursting out in sorrow. You went from saying after the next segment and you started singing. It was like we're MMO Reporter the musical. I approve.
Thank you very much. Hey, you know what? I I want to talk a little bit about Destiny, about the fate of the worlds. No, I want to talk about Destiny, the game, which I still think is a pretty darn good game. It is not, I think, what a lot of people wanted. It is also the basis upon which we judge all horrible PAX panels. With the amount of Destiny panels it is how bad it was. So, for example, a 4 Destiny panel is a bad panel. A 9 Destiny panel is a worst, and a negative Destiny panel is a good panel. Yes, because Bill and I and Matt went to the Destiny panel a year and a half ago now. It was not last PAX, it was the one before. And it was the least informative, most boring, less interesting panel I think I've ever been to. Mm-hmm. On that wonderful note, speaking such wonderful things about Destiny, those of you playing Destiny on Xbox 360 or PS3 are going to have a little bit of a change in your experience in that, or let me rephrase that. If you play it on maybe multiple consoles, like the 360 and the Xbox One, or the PS3 and the PS4, and go back and forth, you're no longer going to be able to do that, because soon they will be splitting off the two different time scales of consoles. The newer consoles will continue on. They'll get Rise of Iron, the new expansion that's coming out in September, I think it is. And the 360 and the PS3 will split down a different path. Your characters will no longer be sort of cross-compatible between the two different consoles, and the 360 and PS3 are not going to get any of the new expansions, and they are going to be put in basically maintenance mode.
I did not know that character progression was shared between the previous generation, like a 360 and an Xbox One, or a PlayStation 3 and a PlayStation 4. This is actually something I didn't know. No.
And now you know.
And now you know. And the more you know.
Do. Anyways, sorry. I thought you were going to go somewhere with that.
No, I was just making the point that I was actually surprised that this technology was that the game was so interweaving, or not that tied to the hardware. So this is a bigger deal than I first thought.
Yeah, but I'm torn, because I want Destiny to be able to innovate and push through forward content that works on Xbox One and PS4 and shows off those consoles without having to work within the limitations of the 360 and the PS3. But I'm also at the same time, excuse me, worried about those players who've played the game now. All of a sudden, they paid the same amount of money as the PS4 and Xbox One players did, but they're no longer going to get access to any more of the content. I don't know what I think about that. I think I'm unhappy, but at the same time understanding. I don't know.
If you are still playing on the 360 on the PlayStation 3, you must realize that it's not going to last forever. I mean, recently Microsoft announced that they ceased production of the 360 console. I didn't even realize they were still building them, but apparently they were up until, I think, March, April. Then they stopped manufacturing these old 360s. So once they stop building the actual console that your game is running on, I think it's time to get out of Dodge.
Yeah.
That's a sign that you might not be current anymore.
Yeah.
I'm torn too. It does feel a little bit cold to throw. Like, it does feel like throwing your customers out into the cold, or throwing them under the bus and saying,
right,
thanks for your money, screw you.
Yeah.
But it's old tech. It's from a previous decade. It's just, you got it. Video games move forward. Like, there's no video games that are 15 years old that are still really significant. Most of them are not even playable anymore, and you gotta carry on. And I think ultimately it's a bitter pill to swallow, but you have to swallow it.
It's not that bitter. I mean, sorry, but this is you're not going to play The Witcher 3 on the 360. I mean, there is a certain point that, I mean, you had this game for 2 years on a 360. If you're still playing that, you had a lot of you had a lot of fun with it, and you took a lot of hours out of your purchase. I don't think you got a rotten deal. You just got a better deal on the newer console, which is kind of makes sense. And this is this is the hard divide between PC and consoles. And that's just a thing. The advantage of a console is it runs everything all the time, whatever you buy. The bad thing is, at a certain point, they're obsolete.
Yeah.
That's it.
Hey, Harry, any thoughts on the Rise of Iron trailer that came out?
I have no interest in Destiny whatsoever.
Oh, really?
I've realized. I realized that I have a choice to not care about something because I don't have to care about everything that happens.
Yeah.
This is heresy, I know, but I've decided not to care about Overwatch.
No, no.
I
No,
accept that
sir.
people,
I refuse to accept that.
I mean, I'm happy that people enjoy it. I believe it is a good game. I have no hate for it, but I've decided I don't care. I don't want to play it.
It's a game that's deserving of hate, and it's awful, and Overwatch should feel bad.
But I don't care either way. That's it's such a great feeling to just not care.
See, I think sadly I probably care for both of us on this.
Yes.
Because I equally hate the game. Like when I'm on a losing streak and when I'm on a winning streak, I feel like a god amongst men. So I care.
Okay, but
I care
Harry,
too much.
With Destiny, did you not see how cool the cinematic was? I mean, shouldn't that be enough?
Do you really want me to repeat myself?
No.
Don't care.
It's a pretty cool cinematic. I love that. I love trailers.
That's probably why you like the Warcraft movie so much, because it was a trailer for an expansion that never got made. Thank God.
I'm
sorry.
This makes me want to play the game. I know I'm a bad person, and I accept that wholeheartedly.
Dude, you're not a bad. Sorry, but I saw I think 5 seconds of Star Trek Bridge Crew, which is I didn't even see gameplay, and I was like, oh my God, I want it. So I admit I'm susceptible to this stuff as well. But in this case, I just don't care. It's Destiny.
All right. Well, let's. I'm going to flip stuff around a little bit here for our stories as we get into our quick mentions, because I want to talk about the second one we had here first. Overwatch overtakes League of Legends as the most popular PC Bang game. Now, for those of you who don't know, PC Bang is a chain of internet cafes, very popular in Korea. Overwatch has overtaken League of Legends as the most popular game there. And I often see it right up there with Dota 2 and League of Legends on Twitch. Very often.
PC Bang sounds like something that's very dirty and you need an extension that needs some washing after use.
Anyways.
It's a big deal. Overwatch is clearly a big deal. Good for that.
It is.
I think even if you don't care about Overwatch, Harry, surely you could appreciate that there's a big event in the gaming landscape that's happened, and kind of appreciate the discussion and fallout that's at least going to come from the big players or the deck being shuffled a little bit at the top.
Yeah, the ironic thing here is I care about as much about Overwatch as I care about League of Legends.
Not at all.
Yes, I realize that
there's academics to it at least as a connoisseur of gaming. It's interesting to see what's happening, even if it's games you're not interested. The gaming industry moves when those big players get displaced and shuffled and disrupted and that kind of thing.
In that sense, I completely agree, and we saw World of Warcraft being supplanted by League of Legends. even if you don't care about LoL, it is still, you see that the general tastes and design choices are changing because of these big successes. And what Overwatch is doing the same to League of Legends. So we're most likely now entering an era where a lot of the ideas that Overwatch introduced, or the refinements that they're introduced, are going to creep into other games. We're going to see clones. We're going to see improvements. So in that way, I mean, Overwatch probably has changed the industry in big ways. And I am curious to see how that falls out. So I agree. In that sense, it's interesting.
I'm so curious, and this is going to be the bug that probably lands at the back of my mind forever. What if the nugget that makes Overwatch as popular as it is right now was actually there in Titan, and we're never actually going to see it?
He went all Cylon.
Oh.
That's terrible because he said something that I was actually one. Bill?
Yeah. Am I
There we
alive?
go.
Your entire
You're back.
sentence fall away just when you were about to make your point, and we never got it.
We did.
Dang it. Should I try again, or is it
Please.
just one of those mysteries that that's going to be lost forever?
I vote mystery.
No, I vote try again because I want to know
Okay.
what you said.
Okay, here we go. So the nugget of Overwatch. There's a piece of Overwatch that's clearly struck a chord and is very popular and very good. What if that piece is a nugget that was actually there in Titan and we're never, ever going to know it or experience it? That makes me sad on the inside.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, but if let's say that this was 10% of Titan, and the other 90% was basically slogging through it to get to that nugget, then I'm pretty happy we didn't get the Titan MMO.
Is that not the magic ratio that Blizzard has been hanging their hat on with WoW for a decade now?
I must say that from the moment I started playing World of Warcraft, the actual things that I was doing were fun. After you've played it for a couple of years, obviously you're going to repeat some of the things you've done. I hear there are more than one kill 7 of X quests in WoW. I mean, that apparently is a thing now. But I disagree that World of Warcraft is a game where you have to get through the bad part to get to the good part. People who say that usually just burn out on the questing. But I think the actual questing game in World of Warcraft is pretty good.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, let's move on from this quick mention that we're currently a part of.
What part of quick didn't you understand?
and-
Is what Chris is actually thinking.
And go on to the next one here. Crowfall is partnering with Travion for EU and Brazil publishing. So Crowfall, of course, Artcraft Entertainment is the developer. They're going to take care of a lot of the North American publishing. But Travion will publish the game in Western Europe, Brazil, and I learned a new acronym today, MENA, Middle East, North Africa. So Travion will publish there. Travion currently offers the following games: Rail Nation, Goal United Legends, Goal United Pro, Travion Legends, Travion Kingdoms, Trek Nation, Miramagia, and United GP, of which I know none.
Well, they're all browser/tablet games. So these are not. This is not a PC game distribution company, as far as I can tell. I don't know what to say about this. I don't know Travion. It's good that Crowfall's being published. That's positive. I hope that a bad publisher doesn't ruin a good game like what almost happened with Lord of the Rings in Europe.
I wouldn't say Codemasters were terrible. They were out of sync, and I don't know what the reasons were, but I never got the feeling that we were, up until the moment that the expansion... Are we really? Oh, God, I'm talking about 2007. Why do I remember? Why is this taking up brain space? Never mind. Let's move on. Travion is so fascinating. It isn't. Sorry, did I mention that I don't care about this?
But Crowfall is going to be a cool game. I just hope that they're not saddled with a less than fantastic publisher. I wish them all the luck and hope that their relationship with Travion is best. For those of you who don't know, a developer will make the game. The publisher will take care of basically all of the front end stuff, marketing, launching, oftentimes serving, hosting servers and all that sort of stuff to have the game actually run in whatever area they're responsible for. So that's the thing there.
I do remember actually organizing a protest march through Bree against Codemaster's policy of not launching the expansion yet. It actually made a screenshot of the week at massively.com with me, my character, leading a band of protesting Lothro players past the Boar fountain in Bree.
Huh.
Awesome.
I wasn't a fanboy at all back then.
No.
Not at all. Not even a little bit. Okay, so one thing I want to share real quick here is a pretty cool trailer for Riders of Icarus, which is a game we've talked about for a while, looking kind of interesting. This is going into Head Start later this week, the 29th of June, and a week later it is going to be launching fully. The only way, of course, to get into the Head Start is to buy one of the Founders Packs. Cheapest one's $30. We'll have a link in the show notes for that. What I really wanted to mention, first of all, the particular trailer that I'm showing right now for the video viewers and for the live viewers is about the adversaries. Talks about some of the different bosses and dungeons and raids that you're going to fight. But the one that really gets me is you fight a big titan at one point, and everyone is mounted on their flying mounts and fighting, and it actually looks like it works. I think for me, for a long time, Riders of Rohan kind of ruined mounted combat in a lot of games, and it finally looks like there may be a game that is getting this whole concept right. It's just coming up now for the live viewers, seeing everybody there. A huge, almost like it's either a raid or a world boss, and everybody's there on their flying mounts and attacking, and it looks absolutely freaking fantastic. Way better. Do you remember that one dungeon in, was it in Wrath, that had the flying mounts that you had to be on for a certain boss?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't remember what boss it is, but I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah. So this is a much bigger scale, and it looks really exciting. I'm thinking this is going to be something I'm going to want to jump into. As long as the leveling experience and that whole thing is a nice, smooth, fun, theme park-ish experience, I'm kind of interested. Anybody else?
It looks good. I mean, it looks like a very interesting take. But it's exactly what you say. I mean, if the road towards the fun is too long or too uninteresting
or tedious,
I will never see this.
Yeah.
And that's what excites me so much about one Tamriel in Elder Scrolls Online. That I get to experience everything the game has to offer, and I really hope that's a trend that we're going to see in games like this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. Me too. Last one here, Bill. This is for you. I brought this story out just for you. Anarchy Online is turning 15. 15.
Are you calling me old, Chris?
No, but
I was about to say.
I'm saying that what was for a very long time the benchmark for horrible launches has survived 15 years after what at the time was the most atrocious, if not, one of the most atrocious launches that has ever plagued MMO-ness land.
Beautiful word picture.
It's the game that really set the standard that says how you launch doesn't matter. Because if it could last 15 years after the launch that it had, then you can take a dump on everyone's computer on the planet and they'll still play the game for 15 years if it's got just a little bit of playability to it.
Yes,
that is an interesting point, because that's if we're gonna harken back a bit to the RPG article with the terrible Twitter analogy. But the one point that article made about Guild Wars 2 is that people don't leave massively in a huff when something goes wrong. People rage and are angry and throw fits, but there are no examples of games turning away all their players and the game dying overnight. And it's very interesting that people seem to think that their outrage has much more effect than it actually does.
Yeah.
You might even say that if people are yelling on the internet, you can safely ignore them.
Pretty much.
You could technically say that.
You could technically and actually say that. Not just technically.
So, for those of you that are interested in Anarchy Online, all accounts in good standing. Whether you have a membership or not, you can log back in. We'll have a link that'll show the time frame for all this stuff. As well, if you do sign up for a membership, they've got 3-month, 6-month, and 12-month rewards. If you want to check out what those rewards are, we'll have a list of them here as well in the show notes. I'm not going to list it off because it's game-specific stuff, so if you don't understand it, you won't care. Bill, are you going to log back in?
I actually just downloaded the installer and I'm in the process. I'm curious. I really I still have visceral memories of Anarchy Online and actually being really excited about the game for the 5-minute stretches that I could play before it crashed on me. So yes, I am. I'm going to see the same look that I did with Dark Age of Camelot, I think, just to see what it's like and to have that little flush of nostalgia and see what it's there. I'd be stunned if I picked up Anarchy Online and played it for a long time, but yeah, I'll have a blast of nostalgia. Thank you.
I think we want a stream of this. I want to see you jumping back in there.
I think
everybody
that's
wants to see this.
It'll crash.
It doesn't look good.
I think
stuff doesn't change.
For the sheer nostalgia of it, I'll stream for 5 minutes and then I'll just pull the power cord from my computer.
All right. That is our quick mentions. Bill, if people want to get a hold of us, let us know what they thought of this extra supersized episode here where we just couldn't shut up today. We just kept on talking.
Every show.
This is a good 25 minutes longer than most of our episodes. We usually go for about an hour. We're hitting about an hour 25 of actual episode here. So,
and these are the summer doldrums. This is
yeah.
But I must say, what you call quick mentions are just actual talking points and news items that have been covered in the same way that we did the first half of the show.
Not everything needed to be. We didn't quite need to go into the WoW tangent that we went on to for the Overwatch overtaking League story.
To be fair,
that was a good part.
The quick mentions had almost as much substance as the lead stories as well. This is the summer of doldrums leaking through. This is the direct effect of that. It doesn't make the main stories shorter. It makes the quick mentions longer.
Anyway,
I don't know if this is an English equivalent for this, but in the Netherlands, when the news dries up and summer comes in, we call it komkommertijd, and that translates to cucumber time.
No, there's no equivalent.
It's a very weird turn of phrase, but whenever when the reruns are on TV and the news is just not that newsy, we call it cucumber time, komkommertijd.
It makes sense to me. I can see it.
Okay. Anyways, Bill, back on track. If people want to get a hold of us, how would they do that?
MMOreporter.com is our fancy-dancy website. You can send us emails to mmo.reporter@gmail.com. You can visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/MMOreporter. You can tweet at any of the MMO reporters, but whatever you do, don't unfollow 200 people at a time because that actually will move our needles. You can follow at MMO_reporter for Chris, at Harry Hall for Harry Hall, or at MMO Bill for yours truly. You can give us a call at 616-666-6778. You can visit us on YouTube at youtube.com/MMO Reporter Network. You can visit us on Patreon, patreon.com/MMO Reporter, if you'd like to help us out, keep the lights on. Otherwise, if you're not a Patreon kind of person, you can head over to MMOreporter.com/support for more singular ways to help us out.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Bill. Thanks, Harry, for another fantastic recording. Always a pleasure recording with you.
Yes, now I have to go and get my Rift. It's not there yet, but I'm going to wait outside. Actually, the UPS point isn't even open yet, but I'm going to just sit there in front of the door.
Sit there. Not creepy Harry, at all.
I've been imagining your Rift delivery in my head the whole show, and I can imagine this dedicated UPS truck that's been polished and with like little diamond crusts put into the paint, and in the back is a single red velvet pillow with your Oculus Rift sitting on top of it.
Little spotlight just to put it just in the...
That's ever so slowly changing color from white to silver to blue to green.
As long as the screen doesn't do that, I'm happy.
You know what, Harry? Just it's okay. I'm sure other people have had the Oculus Rift replaced with bricks to weight it down. I'm sure it won't happen to you. You need to stop worrying about it. Don't let that be all that you think of until you open that case.
Bill, you are
Thanks
close
for
to
watching the video, everybody. Don't forget to check out all the other podcasts at MMOreporter.com.
Use a
or by clicking
break.
on any of the links here. And please check out our Patreon campaign at
Next episode, I'll
patreon.com/MMOreporter.
actually
Thanks,
try
everyone,
to
and
podcast
see you
from
in game.
within virtual desktop in VR.
Ooh.
Well,
Screen or what you're looking at. I just want to see Harry wearing his goggles during the podcast.
You know what?
that's pretty
I'm
sick.
sure. You know what? All joking aside, Harry, I'm sure you will absolutely enjoy your HTC Vive.
All joking aside, I think Bill should definitely get into his car and get some bricks.
Well, Bill,
Anyway.
thanks to you as well. Always a pleasure.
Yep, my likewise. So
Thanks to everyone out there in Twitch chat, YouTube chat, everywhere that we have been streaming tonight. We've been trying out something new, streaming to a whole bunch of different services at once. So thanks to everyone who came and listened to the show in all the different ways that we've been streaming tonight. Thanks to all of you who are checking us out later, whether it be on YouTube or downloading the podcast. We hope that you come back again next week. But, of course, most importantly, we hope to see you in game.
Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at. Don't forget about your ults you need to cherish. Each and every little character you've got, no matter what level they're at.
I completely understand. I mean, it must be hard to wish you'd ordered a Vive the whole time.
I know you're trying to hurt me,
Is it working?
but well, actually, turns out that the Rift is the better buy.
Oh yes.
It does room scale. It has better track controllers. It has the whole thing. It's actually a better deal than the Vive. It's a better system
Okay.
with
Alright.
the same capabilities. The only thing the Vive has that the Rift hasn't is a little camera on the front that you can flip on, so you can see your surroundings. Which I can see is a handy thing. If you want to pick up your controller and it's on your desk, you can just see it for a moment. That's
Yeah.
the only thing. That's the only thing. Oh, wait, I know. I have something I can talk about. I went to a PlayStation VR demo and I played Battlezone.
Oh, I dislike you.
Yeah, and that's in relation. I just thought it was the status quo. PlayStation VR demo.
Thanks for watching the video, everybody. Don't forget to check out all the other podcasts at MMOreporter.com or by clicking on any of the links here. And please check out our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MMOreporter. Thanks, everyone, and see you in game.